The entire nation is mourning, sir, over the death of 40 CRPF Jawans nearly. Such an unfortunate incident yesterday. Sir, India summoned Pak High Commissioner Sohail Mahmood, and Arun Jaitley made a statement after the security review meeting that will isolate Pakistan on the international platform. What is to be done with Pakistan? How to deal with Pakistan regarding this issue, sir?
So the problem with Pakistan is a failed state and a flawed state. It is an infantile disorder. It is a nation that has completely collapsed. Quite unfortunately, we can't change the geography. Whether we like it or not, Pakistan remains our neighbor. The Pakistan is yet to reconcile with the fact that there is a country called India. So the Pakistan doesn't want to acknowledge the thriving nation like India. Ultimately, it's also the victim of its own policies. Today, Pakistan itself is facing a major terror threat from within. But the Pakistani terrorist forces have entered into the statecraft. So you cannot differentiate between Pakistani state and Pakistani terrorist. So the terrorists have entered into the state apparatus. That's dictating even the foreign policy positions of the Pakistan. We have a strange situation where we have a neighbor which exports terror to the country. Normally neighbors export peace. Neighbors export goods and services.
Correct.
But we have a neighbor who exports terror. So exporting terrorism has been the foreign policy of Pakistan. There are four forces that operate and dominate and define Pakistani state. One is the religious fundamentalism. Two, the terrorism, and especially narco-terrorism. Three, military adventurism. And a fourth, the political opportunism. So the religious fundamentalism, terrorism, military adventurism, and fourth one is the political opportunism. Quite often, the civilian leadership of the Pakistan are stooges in the hands of the army. At the moment Imran Khan became the Prime Minister of Pakistan, all of us have analyzed that he is nothing but a proxy of army.
Correct.
So he is not the same pace bowler Imran Khan. So the army propped him up. Army made him the Prime Minister. Army earlier made Nawaz Sharif Prime Minister. So the moment they thought that Nawaz Sharif is a liability and to be dispensed with, they have promoted Imran Khan. So today Imran Khan government may be the elected government, but that elections was a farce and military ruling. So you have a very strange and a bizarre situation of dealing with a country which is ruled almost by the fundamentalist and terrorist. So this is the basic challenge which India is facing. So how to deal with this situation? On the other hand, you have United States which had militarily equipped Pakistan. Even the Pakistani's nuclear arm capability is a direct result of the American waivers. During the Bush administration, successive American governments waived several of its own laws to energize Pakistan with nuclear weapons too.
Yes.
And we have a country, China, which continues to support Pakistan for its own foreign policy reasons. So we are in a situation where we have to fight Pakistan firmly. So my point is, how do you fight Pakistan firmly? When will Pakistan get an opportunity to meddle with us? It will get an opportunity only when there is an alienation in our people. If Kashmiris are not alienated from the Indian state, Pakistan cannot do anything. The external actors will only operate when internal situation is conducive for them. Till we have seen the history of Kashmir. In 1947, when the entire nation was witnessing bloodshed on the account of partition, Jammu and Kashmir has not seen even a single drop of blood letting down. So it has a remarkable history of communal harmony called the Kashmiriyat, the composite culture of Kashmir, which combines the soft Sufi Islam and the Kashmiri Pandits. But what happened after 70s? There are two basic reasons why Kashmir has come to this situation. One, the successive central governments led by the Congress intervened in the Kashmiri political process. and disrupted the Kashmiri electoral process to their own advantage to install their stooges in Kashmir. Unfortunately, the present BJP government has also been doing the same thing. It aligned with the PDP. It delinked from, it came out of the alliance of PDP when the PDP government led by Mahbooba Mufti started taking actions on Katwa rape accused. In fact, we still remember two of the BJP ministers rallied in defense of the rapist. So when Mahbooba Mufti started taking action, they walked out of the alliance. And this kind of a political opportunism by the central leadership has created a situation in the Jammu Kashmir that Delhi is dominating us. Because we have to understand, Kashmir got integrated with India under special circumstances. So we have promised Kashmiri people a special identity enshrined in the Article 370. So when a government led by Bharatiya Janata Party is in power in Delhi, BJP is a party which openly advocates abrogation of Article 370. We have seen the successive Congress government diluting Article 370. Now we have a BJP government which doesn't even believe in Article 370. So the Kashmiri people have come to a conclusion that their identity and autonomy is under attack from the Indian government. So that created roots of alienation, and Pakistan is exploiting that. So on one side we have disrupted the political process there by the Congress and then and the BJP now, and secondly people got alienated because the autonomy and identity of Kashmir, which was promised by the Article 370 of the Constitution of India, because that was an agreement in the instrument of accession. Kashmir has conditionally acceded to India. It has not unconditionally become part of India. If the Kashmir really wanted, it would have become an independent country at the time. But the people of Kashmir under the heroic leadership of Sheikh Abdullah chose to be part of India, but on a condition that it will be treated as a special state. So that special character of the Kashmir is obliterated over a period of time, and that created sense of alienation among the people of Kashmir, and that have sown the seeds of discontent. Today Pakistani terror elements and the Pakistani army promoted terror elements and the fundamentalist forces in Kashmir are capitalizing on this sense of discontent. So unless Indian government gives them confidence, because Kashmir is not a terror security challenge only, Kashmir is a political challenge to the unity and integrity of India. So India should promise the people of Kashmir through a political dialogue that we are committed to the constitutional guarantee, that is not the Pakistani constitution, the Indian constitution, the constitutional guarantee of special identity within the contours of constitution. Nobody asking you to give autonomy to Kashmir over and above the sovereignty of India. Within the contours of India's sovereignty, within the contours of Indian constitution, the autonomy and special character of the Kashmir has to be restored. This will create a sense of belonging in the people of Kashmir.
Sir, after decades of alienation, are the Kashmir people in a stage to believe, sir, if at all?
It's very difficult. You asked the right question. It's extremely difficult for them to believe, because India needs to walk extra mile to convince them. So a political dialogue has to be initiated. A determined, committed dialogue has to be initiated. It won't happen overnight. But as it happens, has the confidence in Kashmiri people increase, terror elements can be isolated. That's the only way. Otherwise, it's impossible to prevent the Pakistani terror elements. We have seen in UPA regime, in NDA regime. So let's not get into politics that it is a UPA failure and a NDA failure. Quite unfortunately, we quite often trumpet too much on this. So when India gone for nuclear during the Vajpayee regime, there was chest thumping. So now we have nuclear weapons. We will bully the Pakistan. What happened? We had a terror attack subsequently. So we had a Mumbai terror attacks, and after the surgical strike, there was a similar political claim. So with this surgical attack, the backbone of terror has been vanquished. Pakistan has been taught a lesson. Now Pakistan will not do anything. We have seen now Pulwama. So this kind of a chest thumping doesn't help. Let us honestly try to restore the political process in Kashmir. Let us honestly try for a political dialogue in Kashmir and create a confidence in the people of Kashmir that India as a nation is committed to the promise which the Constitution of India gave to them. So within the Constitution contours, within the contours of India's sovereignty, let us accept the historical circumstances in which Kashmir became part of India. So once you appreciate those historical circumstances, then you will automatically gain confidence in people who are with you. We have seen a parallel in Telangana. When Telangana and Andhra were integrated, Hyderabad state and Andhra were integrated in 1956, similar apprehensions were there in Andhra, Telangana people. So that was sought to be addressed through gentleman's agreement.
Yeah.
But when gentleman's agreement was not implemented, and when the 6-point formula was not implemented, what happened? We have seen a movement for separate state in Telangana. So when a commitment is not implemented, people will revolt. So we have to attempt this political dialogue. Unfortunately, we are not attempting this political dialogue. The central leadership is sending signals that we are committed to abrogation of Article 370. This is benefiting Pakistani terror elements. So once you ensure that our own people are with us, then we can always fight with Pakistan. As long as our own people are not with us, you cannot fight with Pakistan. Then secondly, whatever may be our internal affairs, on the border when Pakistani army excesses should be militarily fought, there is no dispute about. They are not just one surgical strikes. If required, there can be more surgical strikes also. But let us not publicize them. I am not against surgical strikes. I am proud of my army for conducting surgical strikes. But let us not allow our politicians to reap political dividend from it. So it is not a politician who is risking his life to conduct surgical strike. It is an army jawans who are conducting surgical strikes. Our politicians want to derive political capital from the heroic acts of army. Let us celebrate our heroism of our army. Let us leave it to army. If surgical strikes are required once more, they will do it. Let us not try to make it a political issue. As if surgical strikes are like an electoral promise of a government, like pensions or DACRA smartphones. Let us not make it like that. So it is a serious national security. Let us not try to play politics with national security.
Sir, the immediate reaction of many people, common man even reacted with the word surgical strikes. We have to do one more surgical strikes to shut Pakistan.
So that is the problem with jingoism. We create emotional feeling. So what happened after one surgical strike? We thought that Pakistan will not resort to this, but still it has resorted to it. So another surgical strike, will it keep Pakistan shut? So otherwise what will you do? Can you go for a war? A war is, both are nuclear neighbors. Any nuclear war on subcontinent will be self-destructive. It will be disastrous. So the question here is not the emotional jingoistic response. There should be a concerted and calculated response. Well, if surgical strikes are required, leave it to army. Let us not make it a political debate or a television debate to score points or to rouse emotions. So let us not play politics on that. It should be a purely army action independent of who rules the country. Whether BJP is there, whether Congress is there, whether someone is there, whether nobody is there. That's not our business. It's not the business of the politician. It is not the business of television anchors. It's not the job of Arnab Goswami to decide whether there should be surgical strike or not. So surgical strike need not be fought in shouting matches on television. Surgical strikes is a serious national security objective which army shall take care of it depending on the necessity. On the ground, when Pakistani army or army sponsored terrorists militarily attack, we have to militarily answer. There is no dispute about it. You can't have peace on the border. So on the border, if somebody raises a gun, we should also raise the gun. There is no dispute about it. But at the same time, political dialogue and a militarily challenging Pakistan should go together. One cannot be at the cost of the other. On the other hand, you should also ensure that we should bring Pakistan to the negotiating table. There is in fact, a sense of self-pride in not talking to Pakistan. So by not talking to Pakistan, we are playing into the hands of terrorists. Because Pakistan is going around the world and telling, we are a peaceful nation, India is not interested in peace, India is not talking to us. As if it is we who are not talking to us. Let us talk to them and tell them on their face that you are a terror state, you export terror to your neighbor. So we should have the courage to go to the negotiating table and tell on the face of Pakistan that you are indulging in acts of cowardice.
Sir, we were ready for the talks with the Foreign Secretary, but we have seen what Pakistan had done. Came into our grounds, pulled out our police, special police officers and
my point is talks and arms should go together. Talking to a country is not a weakness. It is a sign of strength. So let us not undermine ourselves. When we go to a negotiating table, let us go to the negotiating table with a sense of strength. So this is a country which will answer you militarily if required. But this is also a country which is ready for peace if you have any sense of peace. So we are not talking to Pakistan terrorists. We are not talking to the Pakistani political stoozes. We are talking to a country called Pakistan. Through this dialogue, we are entering into a dialogue with the people of Pakistan. We should communicate to the people of Pakistan that your country, your state, your military, your political establishment, your army establishment, your intelligence establishment are ruining your own lives also. Peace will benefit even Pakistani people. Unless the Pakistani people have a vested interest in peace, it is extremely difficult to fight Pakistan. Because the people of Pakistan should realize that they have stakes in peace with India. When they feel that there are stakes in peace with India, there will be a pressure from within the Pakistani society. Let us not fight with India, let us have peace with India. Because look at India-China. When there was a war between India and China in 60s. But subsequently, China is today one of India's largest trade partners. As a result, there is an economic lobby on both sides of the fence which want peace between India and China. So if something happens, the economic lobby will come to the fore. So let us have peace between the two countries. So India and America has a strong lobby that wants peace because we are lakhs of our own people working in United States of America. We don't want to risk their future. So the moment such a kind of interest is created in the people of Pakistan, that it is you, the people of Pakistan, who are going to be benefited by peace, there will be a pressure from within. So there should be a three-pronged strategy in dealing with Pakistan. One strategy is militarily challenge Pakistani army and its proxy and its sponsored terrorism through militarily means on the border. That is one. Nobody is asking you to undermine the threat of Pakistan. Let us face it as it comes. Secondly, let us ensure a political dialogue with our own people, that is our own people in Kashmir, for a political solution, promising them what Indian Constitution has promised. Nothing more, nothing less. Within the contours of India's sovereignty, unity and integrity, let us give our own people in Kashmir confidence that this nation is not against your special and unique identity. Then third, talk to the Pakistan, not to appeal to the Pakistani rulers, but to the people of Pakistan and to the world around. That this is a country which doesn't shy away from peace talks. This is a country which it is always ready to embrace anyone, provided if they behave properly. But at the same time, this is a country which would militarily answer when it is required. So that kind of a three-pronged strategy will help. Unfortunately, we are rising on emotional way and going this side and that side, wavering on different sides, fail to create a consistent position on this, try to rouse jingoistic feelings, try to use the hostilities between India and Pakistan for political purposes, electoral purpose. Let's not make it a political issue. It is not an issue of competitive politics. National security, bilateral relations, this should not be the part of competitive politics. This should be above competitive politics.
Sir, one more thing about this is the China's unchanged stance, sir, about the Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar.
Well, that has been the Chinese stand. We can't determine what China, because China has serious apprehensions on India. Because our Prime Minister goes to Japan and talks about South China Sea. But China believes that South China Sea, its stand is correct. So there is a dispute between China and Japan and South China Sea. Why should our prime ministers talk about South China Sea in Japan? So when we take an anti-China position, China will also take anti-India position. So today China believes that India is a part of an anti-China American pivot.
Okay.
It believes that we are sucked into American strategy because we are part of the quadrilateral exercises with America, Japan and Australia, purportedly aimed at cornering China. So the Chinese foreign policy position is India is against us. So we have to tell the Chinese leadership that we will have relations with you, with Japan, with United States or with Australia. Relation with one country need not be the cost of the other.
Yeah.
So once you send that message to China, it is easy to neutralize China. As of now, China believes that India, especially under this government, is increasingly becoming part of an American anti-China encirclement with Japan and Australia. So that is the reason why China is hardening its position on Masood Azhar. Even still, even after India makes this clear, if China has that position, we have to isolate Pakistan. We can't fight both Pakistan and China. So we have to deal with China separately. So China, we have to deal with Pakistan separately. We should ensure that both will not be united. So if the both are united, it will be a bigger security threat to us. It is not a question of emotion.
Yeah.
We will fight with both. That's not the case. You should ensure in a clever strategy of divide and rule. We should ensure, we should always believe that China and Pakistan are not together. So we should deal with China separately. We should deal with the Pakistan separately. First we should isolate Pakistan.
Yeah.
Subsequently, whatever is required to deal with the China, that process should be taken up separately.